For almost 50 years, gaming followed one simple rule. If you want better games, you needed better hardware, a faster PC, a newer console, a more expensive graphics card. That rule built an industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars. But today, the biggest companies in gaming are spending billions trying to break that rule. Because for the first time in gaming history, the most powerful gaming PC you access might not be sitting in your home after all. It could be hundreds of miles away, inside a data center. Netflix changed television, Spotify changed music, cloud computing changed software. And now, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Google, all of them are chasing the same idea. A future where gaming no longer depends on hardware. And if they succeed, the next console generation may not even feel like a console after all. But before we talk about that future, we first need to understand the rule that shaped gaming for nearly 50 years. Gaming has always evolved the same way. A new machine arrives, developers build bigger worlds, players buy better hardware. Then, 5 or 6 years later, it starts all over again. The NES, the PlayStation, the Xbox, gaming PCs, every generation followed the same formula. More power, better graphics, greater immersion. It became so normal that we stopped questioning it. The console wasn't simply where games lived. It was gaming. Hardware decided who could play, how games looked, how much they cost. Everything, for decades, that never changed. Until someone asked a dangerous question. What if gaming didn't need hardware anymore? And believe it or not, the first company to seriously chase that dream wasn't Microsoft, and it wasn't NVIDIA, and definitely not Google. Here's something many gamers never heard of. Long before Xbox Cloud Gaming, long before GeForce NOW, there was OnLive. Back in 2010, its promise sounded impossible. AAA games, no downloads, no gaming PC, no console, just click and play. It was like inventing Netflix before most people had broadband. The idea wasn't wrong, the world simply wasn't ready. Internet speeds were slower, latency was unpredictable, the infrastructure barely existed. Within just few years, OnLive disappeared. Most people assumed cloud gaming had failed, but one company looked at OnLive very differently, Sony. Not because OnLive failed, but because Sony realized something deeper. The future had already arrived. It had simply arrived too early. Sony acquired Gaikai and quietly started preparing for a future most players couldn't yet imagine. Cloud gaming hadn't failed, time had. But while Sony was making one strategic move, another company was quietly building something much bigger. While everyone else was arguing about consoles, Microsoft was building infrastructure, not just Xbox. Azure. Did you know Microsoft operates hundreds of data centers around the world? Enough to power business, governments, artificial intelligence, and yes, millions of gamers. Suddenly, the most powerful gaming PC didn't need to sit beneath your television. It could live inside a warehouse. Your TV became a screen, your laptop became a screen, and your phone became a screen. Even your browser became a console. For the first time, hardware stopped being a platform. The cloud became the platform. And Microsoft had been preparing for that future long before most people even believed it was possible. There was just one problem. The gaming industry still didn't trust cloud gaming. Then, Google tried to change that. In 2019, Google launched Stadia. On paper, it looked like science fiction. Click, play, no downloads, no console, no waiting. It should have changed gaming forever. Instead, it collapsed. Most people looked at Stadia and concluded cloud gaming doesn't work. But that's a wrong lesson. The interesting part isn't that Google failed. It's what everyone else learned from watching it fail. Technology wasn't enough. Gamers don't invest in ecosystems overnight. They invest in trust. Google couldn't build that trust. Microsoft already added. Sometimes the company that changed history isn't the first one to arrive. It's the one that learns from everyone else's mistakes and that changes the entire conversation, because suddenly cloud gaming wasn't about technology anymore. It was about accessibility. Most people think cloud gaming exists to skip downloads. That's marketing. The real goal is something much bigger: accessibility. Gaming has never been more expensive. Consoles, accessories, subscriptions, graphic cards. A high-end gaming PC can easily cost more than many people's first car. Cloud gaming changes that equation. Instead of buying performance, you subscribe to it. A Chromebook suddenly plays AAA games. An old office laptop becomes a gaming PC. A smart TV becomes an Xbox. That doesn't just change technology, it changes who gets to become a gamer. And before we get to what might be the biggest problem cloud gaming creates, I want to ask you something. If cloud gaming became perfect tomorrow, would you still buy a console? Or would you be happy streaming every game you play? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious where everyone stands, because I think we are living through one of the biggest changes gaming has ever experienced. And if you are enjoying this documentary, leaving a like really helps more gamers to discover videos like this. If you'd like to support the channel even more, consider subscribing. The next part of the story changes the conversation completely. Cloud gaming creates another problem, one that's far more important than graphics. Imagine it's 10 years from now. You decide to replay your favorite game. You open the app, the servers are gone, the license expired, the game no longer exists. Not because you lost it, because someone else decided you couldn't play it anymore. That's the real debate, not latency. Ownership. For decades, buying a game meant it belonged to you. Cloud gaming slowly changed ownership into a permission, and that's one of the biggest shifts gaming has ever seen. This isn't really a race of graphics, it's a race for ecosystem. Microsoft wants Game Pass everywhere, NVIDIA wants hardware to disappear, Amazon wants Luna to become another gateway into its ecosystem. Sony is adapting, because whoever owns the platform owns the customer. For 50 years, the platform was a plastic box beneath your television. Tomorrow, it could simply be the internet, and whoever controls that platform may control the future of gaming. At the beginning of this video, I said gaming followed one simple rule: better hardware meant better games. That rule lasts almost 50 years, but maybe we're watching it disappear. Not with a dramatic announcement, not one revolutionary console, quietly, one streamed game at a time. For decades, every generation of gaming had a launch day. People queued outside stores, midnight releases, a new machine, a new beginning. Maybe the next revolution won't have a launch day at all. No lines, no plastic box beneath your television, no expensive upgrade every 7 years. It might simply arrive the next time you open your browser. And one day, future gamers may look back and find it strange that we once needed expensive hardware just to play a game. Cloud gaming may never replace everything. There will always be collectors, enthusiasts, competitive players chasing every millisecond. But it doesn't have to replace consoles to change gaming forever. It only has to replace one idea: the idea that gaming belongs to a machine. Because once gamers can play anywhere, on almost anything, hardware stops to be the center of gaming, and the moment that happens, we won't just be entering another console generation. We'll be leaving the console era behind.